Kevin Durant, yes, Kevin Durant, the basketball player, just remembered the password to his Coinbase account 11 years later. Also, Michael Saylor has been vibe coding new securities offering ideas with ChatGPT. More on Bitcoin Season 2. Let's kick it off. So, Colin, the stories today that we're covering, they almost all sound like fake. They sound like ChatGPT hallucinations. Kevin Durant, already wealthy enough, and then even more wealthy than Kevin Durant, Michael Saylor, both two very interesting stories this week.
Yeah, especially the Durant one, a little page 60, a little bit of a tabloid pixie dust here.
But I haven't heard any like the Bitcoiners talk about him because I think the Bitcoiners just aren't cool. They don't follow sports. They don't know who Kevin Durant is. Now, I also didn't, except
you know who Kevin Durant was? You knew Kevin Durant.
Well, I didn't. The only reason I know who he is because he played for the Oklahoma City Thunder back in the day. Otherwise, I don't really know any other basketball players. So,
I mean, that's fair. You don't follow basketball, but yeah, a lot of Bitcoiners probably missing this. I will say, I'm glad that he found this, but like hearing about like a professional basketball player or just any professional sports player, especially in the US, who make millions of dollars a year, finding a bunch of old Bitcoin that they bought in what was it,
2016?
2016, yeah. Great for him, but it's like, man, couldn't this have been like, like a 7-Eleven cashier or something like that, or just like finds like old Bitcoin wallet from 2012?
I mean, I bet you the 7-Eleven cashier does do that. Yeah, they've got that old local Bitcoins account that they bought something maybe illicit many years ago and they've still got it or whatever.
Right.
But what's funny is like this story of Kevin Durant made it on NBC News. So if we're going to talk about like the weird different information worlds we live in, like I didn't see this on Twitter. This was on NBC.
Right.
And so like here's the highlights. So
it's like perfect for like NBC boomer target audience, honestly.
It is, yeah. Okay, headline: NBA star Kevin Durant can't unlock his Coinbase Bitcoin account. His agent is thrilled. We've yet to be able to track down his Coinbase account info, so we've never sold anything. And this Bitcoin is just through the roof. Could you just hear just this kind of like gravelly agent like speaking on the phone to this NBC News reporter? It's like, yeah, we've been yet to track down this Coinbase account info, so we've never sold anything. And this Bitcoin is just through the roof. Also, shout out to Durant for having an agent named Rich Kleiman. That kid was born to be a star agent. So back in 2016, Bitcoin was like $300 to $1,000, I believe, was the range.
Yep,
and that's when Kevin Durant made his Coinbase account. And it's not like he like lost the private key. He just literally, I guess, forgot the password to his Coinbase account. And because he's so busy doing ball, he just didn't reset the password or something, or maybe go through additional KYC.
Yeah.
And
this man has a lot more to worry about than imaginary numbers sitting on an account called Coinbase. Yeah. But what's crazy about this to me is, so he's a professional basketball player, right? Like, let's look up. Hey, Jamie. I'm Jamie, by the way.
I already did this. Ask what his salary was.
Yeah, what was his salary in 2016?
$130 million.
Was that just for the year, or was that like the contract that he was under at the time? Because we need to make sure.
Well, let's pull this up, ChatGPT.
Because it was probably like $130 million over, but I could be wrong.
Okay, Kevin Durant salary 2016 versus 2025. ChatGPT says his salary was $20 million. That's when he was with the OKC Thunder, and today he's got a salary of $53 million.
Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
But his net worth was 130 versus 300 today.
Okay, so he was making 20 million. Net worth was 130 back then.
Yeah.
Okay. Even Bitcoin if he just he could have just. Let's say in the most conservative case ever, he just put $1,000 in. That could be a few Bitcoin, but
he could have totally just threw in $10,000 or $100,000 and just forgotten about it. And that could conceivably be worth like hundreds, of millions of dollars today.
That's the thing. Bitcoin has outperformed his net worth by a factor of 100.
Yeah.
So Durant began snapping up Bitcoin around 2016 when he attended a dinner where his teammates kept discussing the cryptocurrency. First of all, 2016 basketball players talk about Bitcoin. Pretty cool. He says, I just heard the word Bitcoin 25 times this evening. The next day, we started investing in Bitcoin, his agent Kleiman said.
I love these groups of professional athletes that seem to gravitate towards Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Obviously, you had Russell Okung, formerly, I believe he was the blindside tackle for the Panthers, but maybe he was a tackle on the right side, but I think he was a left tackle. Anyway, he got a lot of guys in the NFL interested in it. Obviously, and there's other guys like Saquon Barkley. I think other stories like this too also go to show how, how much more common Bitcoin is and how much more adopted it is in terms of people like having a financial exposure to it, and at least the US, than most people realize. Because like not everyone is like, like giga autistically tuned in to what's going on. Like a lot of people who are on Bitcoin Twitter, right? I would venture to guess like 90%, if not more, of the people who have financial exposure to Bitcoin in the US have just bought it and then forgotten about it, or bought it and then just kind of like passively manage it, maybe check in on it every now and then.
It's like the sports athletes, like they're, if you think about it, like if they're early in their career, but they've signed these big deals, like maybe just a few years prior, they were still kind of a struggling hand to mouth like athlete. And then they go straight to these big superstardom. So like they're probably like way more like normal people who just happen to be gods of athleticism. So like it's kind of intuitive that the boys would just be sitting around talking about Bitcoin and crypto.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about, where a lot of these guys come from in the NFL and in basketball, right? Like a lot of these guys are coming from, like urban areas where it's just they're not like elites. They're just really fucking athletic dudes.
You probably never had a financial advisor.
Yeah. Right. So, it does kind of just make sense. But I mean, shout out to Kevin Durant, though.
I like to imagine like that because I know Coinbase like re-upped their KYC policies a lot during this time, and that like that's maybe what was holding them back. And I'm imagining the Coinbase employees manually verifying Kevin Durant's like KYC AML stuff. And they're like, no, that's not actually Kevin Durant.
Well, it's really sorry to interrupt or not truly respond to your commentary there, but what I was just thinking of? He's got all of the forked coins in there. He's got Bitcoin Cash.
He's got all the Bitcoin Cash.
He's got
Bitcoin SV.
Assuming, I don't know how many Coinbase supported. I don't think this many, but if they did the full suite, there would be an inexhaustible list. But the ones that come to mind are like Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Diamond. So there was for those who don't know, there was this like kind of Cambrian explosion of forks in 2017 after Bitcoin Bitcoin Cash. One of them was Bitcoin God. I think Bitcoin Super was another one. Anyway, but he would also have Bitcoin SV.
Yeah. Well, it's a fun story and it's interesting. And, it's good to have Kevin Durant as a notable Bitcoin holder. Add him to the stack of athletes who are on the record owning Bitcoin and thinking it's cool, giving them their thumbs up. Because we need good role models buying Bitcoin. No more of this.
We need good role models to captivate the normies.
Yeah.
Hey, Will here with Blockspace Media. Did you know that we have individual feeds for all our shows? If you're watching the Mining Pod, Bitcoin Season 2, or the Court Show, be sure to check out the individual feeds. You can find them on your podcast player of choice, whether that be Spotify, Apple, YouTube, etc. Just type in Blockspace Media and you'll find all our shows pop up, or just type in the individual show name like the Mining Pod or Bitcoin Season 2. Be sure to hit that subscribe and give us a 5-star rating so we can continue to bring you the best content in Bitcoin.
Next one is we had the Bitcoin for corporations unconference this past week in New York City. I interviewed the co-organizers of that, Tim Kotzman and Ed Julien, on this podcast a couple weeks ago, and it was, it's all the suits getting together for a pretty good-looking conference. It appears, all obviously starring Michael Saylor, and everybody's wearing orange ties. So I actually have an orange tie picture.
Can I just say one thing really quickly?
Yeah.
Much love to Tim and Ed. Shout out to what they pulled off. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, we got a cool picture of them
you
with
got
Michael Saylor.
like the orange ties, dude. Michael Saylor always looks so uncomfortable in every single picture he takes. Like, he always looks so uncomfortable. Like, either like he's like holding in a fart, or like he just like he just lost hundreds of thousands of dollars betting on.
He looks like he's shambling away from the MGM Grand at like 8 a.m. on Monday.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was gonna say to organizers of this conference, like, why call it an unconference? I just to start that like idea, like that concept, this kind of ironic, this irony posting is like, oh, we're at the conference that's not a conference. It's one thing, but also it's like the most conference ever because, like you said, it's all suits. It's like it's definitionally like the most formal conference.
Hey, they own it. Those boys, they own it. They own the suit coiner aspect. I had them on this pod, a very fascinating interview. You gotta love them.
What would be really funny is to see a percentage map of like how many people have signed an on-chain transaction at something like this conference versus like Bitcoin 2025, and then like Op Next, and then BTC plus, and on and on and on.
It's funny because like like at Op Next or BTC plus, like everybody there
it would be like 99 plus
99.
Yeah.
But the total value transfer would be like $1,000 versus like in this, like a single person sent one transaction, the whole room lasts in the past year, but it was worth $50 billion.
Yeah.
It'd be like, I think so. My broker like had me, come in and fax something so I could sign a transaction. It was for, I forget, 5 to 50 billion, that kind of thing. So, anyway, okay. But the point is, Saylor had obviously a number of bangers at the conference. I think the takeaway that we had from this is that Saylor had a clip, and I'll play. It's about I'll probably let it run for a minute, where he talks about he's vibe coding the next MicroStrategy or strategy security offering on a Saturday, and you gotta love this guy. He embraces AI, and it won't be long before AI.
He sees AI and Bitcoin as kind of two ends of the same phenomenon.
Yeah. You got to say, I mean, for a guy who's, I would say now pretty tenured in tech, he still is very early. He's an early adopter of things. So here we go.
That embrace digital intelligence. Like my company, I sit down on a Saturday afternoon, I play with the AI, I design a security, I redesign the security, I design the security for the third time. The AI says it's never been done in the history of the world. I send it to the lawyers. They say it's never been done in the history of the world. I send it to the bankers. They say it's never been done in the history of the world. And then they come up with one little quibbling concern like, there might be a fast pay issue and it's unsolvable. And then after 2-3 weeks of tradition, I go back to my AI and I say, is there a solution to the fast pay issue? And it says, yeah, make the liquidation preference floating. Okay, where's the floating liquidation preference come from in our prefs? It's because there's a fast pay issue in the prefs and you can't sell them above par without that floating liquidation preference. I could hire 10,000 lawyers and wait 10,000 years. I wouldn't get the answer. I got the answer in a few minutes from the AI because the AI has no prejudice. It has no inertia. Okay, that's a finance company that uses digital intelligence. What happens next is we print $6 billion of those. What happens without AI? We sell zero. Everyone says, well, what's the killer use case of AI? Well, maybe design a security and sell billions of dollars a month of it.
So what is incredible about this to me is Michael Saylor is basically saying it's like we used AI to find $6 billion as though they just have this like AI pulling money out of a hat like a magician with a rabbit, you know? And like, I get what he's saying fundamentally, but I have no way of verifying the financial instrument he's using. Like he's claiming they're the first to ever do it, or you can't do it this way. You know, I have no way of verifying whether or not that's true. I also have a hard time saying if I had hired 10,000 lawyers for 10,000 hours, they couldn't find this answer. It's like, I get it's hyperbole, but I have no way of verifying whether or not you couldn't actually get this answer from a human.
Yeah, well, what if you put 10,000 monkeys on 10,000 keyboards?
And then eventually one of them will create Bitcoin, and then another will create MicroStrategy.
That is MicroStrategy. It's a bunch of monkeys. All right, we love you guys, but Michael Saylor, come on the pod. But like, I love the idea. You do hit the nail on the head, which is like, I was just ChatGPT is great for ideas. It came up with a $6 billion idea. I was just like asking it for ideas.
I mean, it does kind of remind you of those like, it's like this teenager makes $100,000 a month using AI tools, and it's like they like tooled something to like sell paper clips to fucking schools in like Poland or something, and it's just the most ridiculous business scheme you've ever heard of. But in this case, it really does kind of seem it's like, okay, these companies, these Bitcoin treasury companies, are very momentum based, and they need momentum, and they need market, like anything, but especially these need some sort of like market sentiment really to like get them going. And it's almost like with this, Michael Saylor's running out of the talking points about like Bitcoin is digital energy and like all the different things they do to buy Bitcoin, and now he's like, AI is finding us money, and maybe he is right, and I'm sure that he is right to a certain
Bitcoin is
point,
the check against global AI singularity collapse. You can mash a bunch of words together. Honestly, he might be onto something.
Well, he keeps doing it, so you can't argue against results. I have nothing against the guy. He's not doing anything illegal, but whenever he speaks, I feel like he's trying to sell me something, because he fundamentally is. He's trying to sell his stock to me, right? But, there's something, there about, but anyway,
his talk had a bunch of interesting points. I listened to most of it. He had a point is like, well, we started out thinking of strategy as this, like buying Bitcoin as a defensive play. And then we wanted to take like a strategic, position. And now we're going on the offensive and recreating an entirely new, system of derivatives and stocks and stuff. And, he is very successful at it, and it's working really well. And I can only just take some funny, hot shots from the side, because he's got a few billion more dollars than I do, and it's working for him. So shout out to Michael Saylor. Okay, the next story, the last one is, I apologize that it's not necessarily a Bitcoin story, but we covered in the newsletter a few weeks ago. Monero, another blockchain, the privacy-focused blockchain, underwent its, quote, deepest reorg ever, an 18-block reorg that happened on the 15th of September. And the event invalidated 118 transactions. So what is a reorg? Basically, a blockchain's going along. Someone comes along and starts mining a different chain, but that's split at a certain block. And at some point, the person who's got more hash power eventually becomes the real chain. So all that activity that happened on the chain that big entity's on no longer exists. And so you can basically rewrite history through a reorg strategy. And this happened to Monero. Why did it happen to Monero, Colin? Well, because
no one's mining Monero.
No one's mining Monero.
Well, actually, do we know why it happened this time? Was it the same? Because
It
the
was the
reason
exact same thing.
Is it
Yeah,
the
exact
same
same thing as
thing?
last time. Yeah,
Okay,
same
so it's like
entity.
the token incentive and stuff, because the last time the pool, so rewinding to the last time this pool spun up, started offering a token to Monero miners to mine with them in addition to the payouts from the pool. So they were getting extra money. They ended up getting enough hash rate, and the rest is history. So I guess same thing here, probably.
Yep, same thing here. And in this case, like this entity is they're documenting it publicly. So they're saying like, we're going to do this. We're going to they're telegraphing it. They're doing like post assessments. Like, here's what we did. Here's how we did it. And it's kind of in the interest of transparency and exploring the resiliency of Monero, because Monero does not use the specialized computers that Bitcoin does. And because it uses the normal CPU inside normal computers, it's easier to acquire those. And it's just like more difficult for like the industrial scale attacker to leverage resources to acquire more hash rate. I mean, that's kind of the simple version of it. Shout out to the Monero people. I will actually, if you made it this far of the podcast, I will dangle and tease that I have an interview coming up in October with very, very famous Monero developer, former Monero developer, Fluffy Pony, Riccardo Spagnelli.
That's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Bitcoin. We're going to talk about censorship resistance.
Got to ask him about the 51% attack. I've met Riccardo a few times. He's a really nice guy. I think you'll enjoy talking to him. He's
really respected in like the Bitcoin and the Monero community, and kind of just like cypherpunkism overall. You got to love like those guys who are like kind of ideologically driven, and they kind of figure out, there's like some of these, and
Bitcoiners have always had a soft spot for Monero. And,
me too.
I kind of hate to see that it's being reorged, but then there's another part of me that also says like kind of respect in a way to the people attacking it and the researchers. I don't think they should be. I don't want to be like, you should go attack like tiny proof of work blockchains. Like everyone go financially engineer 51% attacks and reorgs. I'm not saying that, but they're picking a chain that I was looking at the tweet or the tweet from Bitcoin News or whatever, and it was like, said 118 transactions and 18 blocks. It's like 6.5 transactions per block.
Yeah, and the blocks are like anywhere from like 3 to 5 minutes long. Like that's pitiful.
Yeah, it's really not. There's not too much at stake here. It's a lot of dark web activity. But even with that, it's like that's not very much at all. So makes me wonder if it's even fallen out of favor there, or if there's not much activity going on there.
Well,
but
as we all know, Colin, the only thing that matters is the price. Monero is up on the week. It is up 5% because
we are so back.
We are so back. The market does not care about your dumb little engineering things. The market doesn't care about.
I mean, that would have been a pretty easy trade, honestly.
Blockchains failing is bullish. Case in point, Solana all throughout 2021.
Yep. Case in point, Ethereum all throughout its history.
Yeah. Case in point, Bitcoin, the inflation bug, only been up since then. Anyway, okay. Anyway, that's it. That's it for the news. If you like this news, hit us up in the comments. Give us your unsolicited opinions. And if you do like this type of news, subscribe, send this to a friend. See you all next week.